Like classes were a lot more thorough back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
There was less
You
history.
don't go to school. What are you
There was
talking
less history at the time.
There's
Oh my gosh. This guy.
well, there's 20 more years of history.
He's not wrong.
Not wrong.
He's technically not wrong.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to the room upstairs. We're back to host
Another episode.
This is another tough one.
Yeah.
Welcome again. This is the episode. This is the podcast where we battle out movies, remakes, and originals, and other things. My name is Bird, and I'm here with my hosts.
I'm the TallBeing.
And Mephisjoe.
Yeah.
Reason I made it names.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. We are all over the place.
Yeah.
Because we've
been going for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I've just been telling weird stories from when I was a youngling.
Yeah.
The hard streets of Southern California.
Yeah.
I didn't even get into like the crazy like trips to Mexico and all the things
so
that
we're gonna have to zone in now. We gotta zone in.
Tune
now,
in.
We're in the podcast now.
Yeah.
So, all right. Welcome again. The room upstairs. Make sure to follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram and Facebook. If you're watching, obviously hit the subscribe. If you're listening, we're on YouTube. Find us and subscribe and comment because we want to talk with you guys. Yeah. We're here to battle out movies, and we make some choices that may or may not be your choices, but we want to know what you guys think. So make sure to give some comments on all the battles that we have. I think that's the business.
Yeah.
So
Business to me.
here's a couple things we're going to get into today that makes this episode so tough. Mm-hmm. We've got the first round of our mini battles. Danny Elfman versus Henry Jackman.
Is this the finals or is this the?
It's the first.
Because we already did the preliminaries, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the second liminaries.
I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah.
It's the second bracket of this battle.
How many brackets do they got to go through?
I think it's 4, right?
It is 5.
Oh, 5.
Yeah.
And we're on the second one.
We're in the second.
We got a long way to go.
So this is the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what we got you for.
And then next will be regionals.
Mm-hmm. And
then
semifinals.
Semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got the main battle, which is TMNT 2007 versus Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this.
Might be our hardest battle yet.
I'm sad that I wasn't around for like the original Ninja Turtle conversation. Yeah, because I love Ninja Turtles, and there's lots of nostalgia, obviously. But I enjoyed both of the movies, and so I'm sure it'll be interesting to see how we rank and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And
this is our anniversary episode.
That's right.
Because of that.
Yeah, because we started off. Our very first episode was the 1990s version Ninja Turtles versus the remake.
Yes, the Michael Bay produced one.
Right. And then our 2
I
year.
just threw up in my mouth a little.
So did we. Our 2 year was part 2 of each of those.
We did sequels.
So this is 3 year?
This is 3 year. A year of you being here.
Tricentennial? Have I been here a whole year?
Yeah. Your first episode was our Ninja Turtles sequel.
I mean, unless, like something weird's happening, I just get up and leave in the middle of the podcast.
That's true.
It has been known to happen. So, that's what we're going to get into today, along with our promise news. Mm-hmm. And that is Conan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Conan the Barbarian.
We made a vow. We'll deliver Conan news every episode until
the movie comes out. We are waiting for King Conan. As of now, there's no news, but
and our topic tonight kind of relates to Conan.
It does.
It does.
Yeah. In a way.
Yeah.
We can make everything just go back to Conan if we want.
Yeah.
Eventually.
It's like 6 degrees of Conan.
That's right. Yeah. So, but this is a connection, because what I did hear is that there's going to be, they're working on a script for a Conan-like character, kind of, called He-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So Masters of the Universe, they're finally pushing forward with that. Kind of cool.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah.
Live action?
Live action.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
I'm sure there will be lots of toys available after it.
that is our Conan related news for this episode.
I'm just
Conan
saying,
related news.
the He-Man show like was just designed to sell toys,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and that's why in the movie some of the characters are like just brand new, made up. They're like, we need new toys.
Right.
So same thing's gonna happen, right? You're gonna be like, where's Beastman? Like
Yeah, but I don't know if there'll be
We got,
toys like that for live
Animal
action.
Man. They're
there
they
will
do.
be.
They'll happen.
Were you there when Space Jam 2 came out?
Oh my god, Space Jam was for kids though.
No,
It was animated. No, I don't think this will be for kids.
there'll be toys, even if they're like more collectible and they show up in the collectible section.
Oh yeah, for
Because
sure.
you have like RoboCop,
No, that's gonna happen.
Terminator, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
that'll happen. I'm talking about like 4 years old.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know that age
I
group.
appreciate. You know what's weird? They do make some Predator action figures that are made for like younger. They're like more colorful and like
It's
less
huggable.
articulation. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I should probably not spend as much time in the toy section.
Okay. Well, enough about that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into our battles, or you got some things for us first?
We can do our first battle and then our big battle.
Okay. I want to go last.
Danny Elfman.
Okay. You go first.
Oh, Danny Elfman. Listen, I like Jackman.
Yeah. We can talk about Magneto all day.
I love.
Hold
I
on,
love
hold on. Let me go through their.
Yeah, that's good.
let me
Let's go through their stuff
yeah,
first. We're going to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we'll go. We'll give a little background on these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, who did Danny Elfman beat? Do you remember?
Danny Elfman beat. I have it pulled up.
Okay, well, I'll read his stuff. So he's
Klaus.
Oh,
Klaus
he did.
Badelt.
Klaus
Interesting, because he's
Yeah.
the one that did the music for TMNT.
He is.
It's
So-
all connected.
It's all connected.
We're Madam Webbing right here.
It's webbing time.
It's like we're gonna start talking about Mike Epps all of a sudden.
Yeah, so Danny Elfman, he's now about 71 years old. He's got 141 movies, TV shows,
Credits.
credits to his name, including The Simpsons, right? He did the theme song. Batman, Edward Scissorhands, The Wednesday Show is the more recent thing he's done.
Oh, I didn't know he did that. That feels right.
Right. Basically, any Tim Burton movie, Danny Elfman was the guy. He's working on the new Beetlejuice movie also. So he's going up against Henry Jackman, who is 50 years young.
I almost
10
I
years
thought you
to
were
the
gonna
end.
say younger, and I was like,
No. So he's got 65 credits to his name. And he's also got a bunch of hits.
He does.
He's got Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
X-Men First Class,
X-Men First Class.
X-Men First Class, Jumanji movies, Wreck-It Ralph.
Jumanji.
Jumanji.
He did Extraction 1. And it was so
apparently good
good
one.
that he was called back for the sequel.
Didn't he do the first Puss in Boots too?
He did, yeah. Okay, so that's a little bit of background on each of the composers.
Elfman. Look, when I look at the list, I'm like, I like his stuff better.
One word. Batman.
I mean, kind of, yeah. Like, so I love the Magneto theme, right? Especially because of that interview we've talked about before. Like, he's like, this is not a song. This is
Yeah.
This is a baseline.
it's a baseline.
Yeah.
Man. Like, so I'm like, man, I want to give him credit for just being funny, right? But when I like look at their lists, man, there's like, I mean, just one of them feels like he just kind of stands above slightly. Yeah. So it was not an easy choice because I see both the names. I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be tough.
Those are good names.
And I really had to like fine tune and just go through their works and be like, all right, which one has more stuff that I really love and can recognize.
Yeah.
And that was the can recognize was kind of a big deal too, because like Elfman, yeah, you can recognize.
Yeah.
Like Jackman, I got Magneto, but for the most part, like when I go through those movies, even movies that I've seen, I'm like, I don't think I
not getting a
recognize.
whole lot from
Yeah,
it.
I'm not getting a whole lot of stuff that sticks with me, So
Elfman. So one for Elfman.
Elfman.
You?
So, Winter Soldier theme.
Yeah.
One of my favorite villain themes.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we're on like a subway I think of it because that's what it sounds like to me. Yeah. So I am very uncomfortable on subways.
You're waiting for someone to shoot you.
Yeah.
Well, and now you can add on the Madam Web subway. Yeah. And really,
I feel the editing. These are flashbacks. That said, Elfman. My vote is for Elfman.
Same reason.
Yeah, like for every Magneto, there's a Batman theme. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For every Winter Soldier theme, there's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It's just...
Yeah.
It's The Simpsons. And everyone knows The Simpsons. You can't...
let's be real, like all the Tim Burton stuff, like...
Yeah.
Man,
they all have a very specific sound that I love.
Yeah, and they match their movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Mwah.
Yeah, another one.
Get the crap out of here.
Well, but the music matched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's you.
Yeah.
So Danny Elfman is moving on, regardless of my vote.
Yeah.
And this was tough for me because it's definitely like what kind of sound you prefer, because they're vastly different sounds.
Yeah.
Even when you compare like the kid movies, Jackman's stuff is still very different from Elfman's stuff.
Mm-hmm. I like Elfman's weird stuff. It just sounds like, this is interesting. I like it.
So like at first listen, I like Jackman's stuff better. Mm-hmm. But as I keep listening, I go back to Elfman.
Yeah.
Because
diversity. Huh? It's just more diversity.
Well, yeah, but it also, like you said, it brings out the characters. Oh, yeah. So kind of like how we voted for Bernard Herrmann, where the Psycho theme goes with the Psycho. Like you can't separate them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't separate Michael Keaton from that Batman theme.
Right.
It's so good.
And it's like that with a lot of Elfman's movies. Is like you hear the music and it's directly associated with a certain character,
most definitely,
or movie.
Yeah.
And Jackman just didn't have that.
Not overall.
So yeah, I was going with Elfman anyway, but it was really tough because I was listening. I was like, man, Jackman's so good.
He's
good. Really good stuff. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't an easy choice, but like I'm like, man, like you can hear the Beetlejuice song, and you're like, man, that's Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, just. I'm just I don't know, I guess I'm just agreeing like wholeheartedly, like he really does such a superb job of capturing the character and the essence of the movie in the music that he creates for it.
Yeah, and I think that because I think last time he was on we had Murray.
We did, yeah.
And he didn't like Elfman because it was too like kiddie or whatever, like it was too whimsical or whatever it is, because he does have that, it's kind of wacky. I mean, like Tim Burton stuff.
Yeah,
that's what he's mostly known for, right? So like his music kind of has that too, which is why they work so well together.
Yeah,
it's like they're the perfect match. So I get it if you don't like him. Yeah, because I said when you listen to Jackman, it's
a specific style.
Yeah, for sure. And Jackman's just like he's got this more solid kind of. Sound,
something a little more approachable.
Mm-hmm. So I get it.
If I feel like Jackman would be like I'm more rock star than you are,
Yeah.
You can see it. And you're like, yeah, you got because his stuff feels like it's got more edge.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm.
But it's all. I still feel like it's all.
And I got to give him credit because like Big Hero 6 kind of went under the radar, but it was
some good.
It's a really good movie, and he did the music for that. And
part of why really good.
Yeah, part of why that movie is good.
The hard part is
the music is so good.
Like the main song though, the one that you like typically remember for the movie.
Oh yeah, it's not
it. Yeah,
Jackman.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's where the misses are.
Yeah,
is he just doesn't have that like, oh, that's Jackman's theme, where Elfman does.
Yeah,
but you guys, let us know what you think. If you prefer Jackman, let us know why.
That said, I do want to give a specific shout out. We didn't mention this really. Civil War, I think, is his best soundtrack.
Civil War was a good one too.
Like I listened through that one completely, and I just was like, the emotion in that one was way higher than I remember it being. Now I want to rewatch that movie because just getting to specifically the second half, everything from like airport fight onward, I was like, wow,
yeah,
this is the Wakanda bombing. Like it's all just coming back now.
That's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
The final fight between them,
Uh-huh.
just the lingering shot of them throwing the shield on Iron Man.
Yeah, it's so funny, like, because like I remember a lot of people were like, "Oh man, yeah, the Captain America movie is like the weakest of the Marvel movies."
No.
But then like Winter
first
Soldier and but then
Oh,
Winter
the
Soldier
first one,
and
yeah.
Civil War, man, like
Yeah, they are
those,
really good.
those two,
Arguably the best.
yeah. I mean, like let's take out Endgame and Infinity War, like.
Those
If
are
you're just
probably some of the best.
yeah, they're just gotta stand on their own feet, man. Those two movies are.
Yeah, I've said it
those,
before.
like Doctor Strange probably.
Doctor Strange is really good.
First
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Winter Soldier for me is my favorite Marvel
Same.
movie. So.
Yeah. Winter Soldier, like it just
Very
did
good.
so much and had such a different feel
Yeah.
than anything that they'd put out before that.
And honestly, even after.
yeah,
I think they've done, like, they've tried to be like, oh, Falcon Winter Soldier is going to be
Yeah.
like a continuation of that.
they've made
It just
attempts,
doesn't-
just
Yeah,
not
and
good
which
ones.
Jackman did that music too.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
Mhm.
That one was a bit of a miss.
Yeah, the fact that you said, "Oh, he did,"
Yeah.
that's why he didn't win. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who's gonna battle next then?
Well, next, we've got one that I am even more scared about.
Okay.
We've got Tom Holkenborg,
Okay.
or Junkie XL,
Yeah.
that's his stage name, versus Ludwig Göransson.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a toughie.
Yep. We got to watch Rebel Moon before that, because Holkenborg did Rebel Moon.
Okay.
And I'm
Hayden,
interested.
that's on you. There's no. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one too.
Yeah.
Are we ready for
We're ready.
our main battle?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Heroes in a Half Shell.
Turtle Power.
I wasn't sure if we were gonna do it, so I was like,
Yeah, I stopped. I was like,
Yeah.
all right. So main battle. Let's do the tail of the tape. All right. So Ninja Turtles. We are battling TMNT that came out in 2007. Rated 7. Yeah. Rated
Banger of the
PG.
year. Banger of the year.
You're a little biased on that too. Yeah, so rated PG, it's an hour 27 minutes long compared to the Mutant Mayhem that came out last year, 2023. That's also rated PG, but that one's an hour 39 minutes, so a little bit longer. TMNT was directed by Kevin Monroe. It stars Patrick Stewart as the main villain, Mako as Splinter, Chris Evans as Casey Jones, Sarah Michelle Gellar as April O'Neil, and then the four turtles were like voice actors. Mitchell Whitfield, James Arnold Taylor, Mikey Kelly, and Nolan North. And the music was done by Klaus Fidel, as mentioned earlier.
A small note on that cast. They were all supposed to be voice actors originally, like exclusively. And then the lines were all recorded and everything. The studio just decided, nah, we need celebrities in this. And so
Right.
they recast a few of the roles just for that.
Yeah, I mean,
As they do.
right.
you know, at least the studio intervention in this case like didn't hurt it.
Yeah.
It didn't. I mean, you can argue that it did, because there's people that will be very for voice acting in animation because that's what they specialize in.
Yeah.
So they're better at that than just, having a celebrity do the voice.
Yeah. But
Plus,
none
like,
of them did badly.
It
I don't
kind
think
of,
so either.
especially like because of the way they changed the story in like Mutant Mayhem, like it creates some issues, like because like I understand Jackie Chan, that's amazing. Like, why is he an Asian?
All right, well, let me go through that.
He grew up in Chinatown.
Let me go through that. So, Mutant Mayhem was directed by Jeff Rowe and Kyler Spears. So they double teamed that. Stars Ice Cube as the main villain. Like I said, Jackie Chan as Splinter. Seth Rogen, John Cena, Maya Rudolph, all big names were in there as kind of background characters like in the first one.
Introducing
And then
I was going to say it.
introducing, Paul Ant-Man, which he was awesome.
Yeah.
And then the main turtles again were like newbies, whether they're gonna only do voice acting or actually be actors, we don't know yet. Micah Abbey, Shimon Brown, Nicholas Cantu, Brady Noon, and the music was done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So that is the comparison for the movies. How are we gonna do it this time?
So I got categories.
Okay.
Categories. 10 of them.
Okay.
Let's go.
So we're going back to our
Category
undeniable,
Yeah.
scientifically proven way to show what movie is the best.
Yep.
Okay.
No one can deny us.
Undeniable.
So,
All right.
first category.
Okay.
We've got the best overall interpretation of the turtles. Because I didn't want to do each one individually. So we're going to go with like how normally
As a
would,
team?
Yeah,
The
like-
4 turtles as a team?
yeah, not necessarily how they like they're dynamic. That's my next thing.
Okay.
But I'm thinking individually, like instead of doing which one, the best Raphael, the best Donatello, just
Overall,
combining them
which one was
together. Yeah, 'Cause I
Okay.
think it works with that.
Okay. I'm going to preface this again by saying this is very tough for me. This is one of our hardest battles for me.
Yeah,
Especially
both
when we
do.
compare the other Ninja Turtle movies that we've battled. It's been very one-sided.
Yeah. 'Cause
Uh,
we're gonna say right now, both of these are good movies.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So
Although I,
I don't
think
think
TMNT
that's-
gets really low scores.
I think that it gets probably lower to average,
Yeah, because I think it's like the high 30s.
but I don't think that as many people have seen that have seen Mutant Mayhem. You know,
It might partially be because, and like I'm sure we'll get into this, but like they wanted the tone to be closer to like the original comic, darker,
right?
right? Well, the new one clearly had no problem leaning into like
Being goofy.
Ninja Turtles are kind of goofy, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so that's what kind of makes this a hard question for me because like you have the TMNT leans into like we're teenagers, so we're angsty,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And then the new one is like leaning into we're teenagers, like just hitting puberty,
Yeah.
right? And so they're very different, and it's gonna be tough, I think, for the newer one to keep being great. I mean, it's good. It's a good movie, and I'm sure it will. People will watch it for years and years, but like it's going to date itself
Right.
Yeah.
because they make so many pop culture jokes.
Yeah.
They make so many references. Like they use the word "riz." Like that word is going to fall out of vogue very quickly,
quickly,
and if it
yeah.
hasn't already,
Yeah.
right? Like by the time you guys like post this,
Yeah.
people might be like, "No, we don't say "riz" anymore." That's just. I mean, just
It's
that,
how it works.
That's how quickly things work. Yeah. Whereas the TMNT like took a more classic,
Yeah.
like angsty, like trying to figure out our roles, and relate to each other as brothers, but also as a team, right?
Mhm.
And so as far as like the dynamic, yeah, I think the hardest part is that because I feel like the TMNT really focused heavily on Raph and Leo, Mikey and Donatello took a back seat where they all got like some spotlight and time to shine in the newer one. And were, this is really hard because like the development that they're doing in TMNT, like
Very different.
is, well, no, but it's still, they're still carrying it on, right?
Yeah.
Like, cause like I remember when I was a kid, like all the turtles look exactly the same,
Yeah.
right? Even in the original comic, they all look exactly the same except they have different weapons. And then the cartoon, when I was watching it, they look exactly the same except they have different
Different
weapons
masks
and
now.
different colors. Yeah. And then later on, they started to morph and progress. Like now, you know, Raphael is like more
little
muscular,
bigger,
and like
yeah.
I love that like they have him like getting like protein powder in Mutant Mayhem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like characterizing them, I think I'll probably give it to the new one, but just barely, like,
Yeah.
and only because those two are sidelined so hard in TMNT.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
So part of that is they wanted to do a trilogy with the TMNT.
Yeah, and if they had been able to do it, because I think that Michelangelo was supposed to like heavily influence the story in the second one,
He was, yeah. He was supposed to join the hand.
right?
For a
Yeah,
little bit.
and the because I looked it
Could've
up
been
and
good.
like the plans they had for the second, third one, like that would have been a great trilogy.
Yeah.
What would the third one have been?
The third one would have been them going to Japan, I think.
There
So
were-
not back in time.
Not
No.
back in time.
There was supposed to be alien. It was one of the alien race, but
so
not.
like bring-
It was not Crane.
It was the
Okay.
Someone
the
different.
the Triceratons.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And Donatello. Donatello was supposed to be like the center of that movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would make sense too. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, because I'm like, this movie is actually really good. It had some stuff, right? And I'm sure as we go through the things, like,
we'll get to
as
the
I was
stuff.
thinking about it, I was like, well, there's some stuff here that is interesting. But
Okay. So you
You
want
me?
to go on me? Or did you already?
I didn't go yet
Okay.
because I'm not sure. I think he swayed me with Mutant Mayhem. 'Cause the other thing is like, yeah, TMNT just took a more classic approach to all of them that I can really appreciate. It's like these still feel like all of them. I don't know. Yeah, just distinguishing them a little bit more in Mutant Mayhem, and the fact that they were all pretty equal in the story. Leonardo was probably a little more at the forefront than the rest of them, but overall, it wasn't just him and another one like in TMNT. So I'm gonna give it to
Mayhem?
that. I'm gonna give it to Mutant
Okay.
Mayhem.
Yeah, there's gonna definitely be like
we're just gonna stop you. It doesn't matter.
back. No, this time it does. This time it does. But there's definitely back and forth. I think on a lot of these.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I
for
might
sure.
get swayed like by something you guys say, and maybe vice versa for
we
all of
we
us.
obviously are.
They're good movies, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
So I'm gonna go with Mutant Mayhem also on this one as far as the overall dynamic, because they feel more like brothers in throughout the whole movie. Like almost every scene, all four of them are always together.
Yeah.
They're close. They're not just like around. They're close.
Like leaning on each other and touching. Yeah, absolutely.
So like playing on the rooftop and they're videoing each other, like just having a good time like brothers.
Teasing Leo for like clearly having a crush because I
call him Leonardo.
Yeah, well, no. What my favorite was like he's like, we gotta help, and he like runs off when they first like see April, and I think Donatello's like, did he just go through puberty? Like, like all at once?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely had jokes like that.
Yeah.
It had plenty of jokes.
A lot of it was improv too. Like they've specifically brought all the actors into the same studio and cramped them together because they wanted to improvise a lot of the scenes in a way that you could only do like in a live action movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. I mean, it's crazy because there was so much. Like Seth Rogen is producing a Ninja Turtles movie. What in the world
is going on?
But I mean, he took steps, and his whole team took steps to make it as entertaining and as good as possible.
Yeah.
With little things like, well, it's not a little thing to get everybody together, but like normally that doesn't happen in animated stuff. They don't get everybody together like that. So, but yes. So overall, as a dynamic, I go with Mutant Mayhem. As far as look, if I don't know if that's a thing, but I like the TMNT look.
Okay. So I could put that under the interpretation of the Ninja Turtles, because I have that, and then I have like their dynamic with each other as separate things.
Okay.
It's like how they work individually and then how they work together, separate categories here.
Okay.
So
we just did how they work together.
it was supposed to be individually,
Oh, gotcha.
but we can just switch these around.
So the next one is.
We'll make that individual. We talked a lot about doing them together just
You're
now.
killing me, man.
So we just voted as a dynamic as a whole.
Yeah.
Right? So now we're voting as individual turtles?
Individual, yeah. Which one did the turtles?
Yeah, so this is where I think I'm going to lean towards TMNT because they did classically get them more right.
Yeah.
Even like Raph's relationship with Casey, right?
Yeah. They're a little closer.
Yeah. And like they are like all goofballs in Mutant Mayhem, and there's just a reality that like that's a fine interpretation, especially for what they were doing and where they were going. Like it worked for this story.
Yeah.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if that changes in the next movies.
I hope that it does, because that will just progress that story so much more.
As we've talked about, if we get to Last Ronin eventually, that would be really cool. But
anyway, go ahead.
That would be very cool. But yeah, it's tough for me because I'm like, they were all goofballs, and they didn't really lean into their characterizations, right? And And this could go back to like, we were talking about experience with Spider-Man. Like they just learned how to like kick people and punch people. Like they got their first fight. We got to watch them get their first fight. And so realistically, Leonardo is the oldest. And so he's responsible, but like, he's not a team leader. Like they've not been sent out as a team. Whereas in TMNT, like he's supposed to be training so that he can better lead them as a team. Yeah. And
they've already been in battles.
They've been in battles, and they've already defeated the Shredder, right? Like they're supposed to, like they are functioning as they were intended to, and so I would say, at least in this regard, their individual characterizations fit a lot more with classically what I think of when I think of Ninja Turtles, like TMNT.
Yeah.
So that one probably gets my vote.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Mostly because these two movies are trying to do very different things. Like they are very different Ninja Turtle stories. One of them is not a continuation of anything in specific, but it's like right in the middle of their ninja-ing careers.
Right.
Whereas Mutant Mayhem is an origin story. It's their very first mission doing anything.
Yeah.
And so like that's Leonardo's arc, is he's becoming that leader for the first time.
Yeah.
While with TMNT, it's him progressing as one.
I thought that was interesting too, because it's a self-imposed mission. It's not like a Splinter was like, all right guys, we got to get together and do this mission. It's them like kind of stumbling into it, really.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a good way to do it.
Yeah.
So you vote for who did you vote for?
I'm gonna go for TMNT also.
Okay, I also vote for TMNT on this one.
Even.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
This is why I put the Turtles as two separate things here, because they both movies do the Turtles extremely well in very different ways.
Right. Yeah.
So this one will be a little simpler. Splinter. Which one did Splinter better?
I mean, this is tough too, because you have Jackie Chan versus Mako.
Yeah.
This one's actually not so hard for me.
I have my choice too.
Okay.
So I feel like the root of the problem between Raphael and Leonardo in TMNT is because Splinter is more a master than a father, and like just clearly neglecting that role altogether. The fact that like they only see him and he has them kneel like he's doing the master thing, like why aren't you encouraging Michelangelo to not be a party clown? And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whereas, and I know it's extreme, but like the Jackie Chan Splinter,
He's more of a father.
well, like not just more of a father, but like you can see that the way the turtles respond to their environment is because he is responding out of a place of fear, and he's projecting his fears onto his sons, and so it drives them to like hide some stuff from him, and that's a natural response for kids. Like if they like, you know, like they want to fit in, they want to be a part of this bigger world. Like he's terrified of it though, and so he's not a safe person to go to. Whereas like if Splinter had just taken Raphael aside a year ago and been like, listen, he's not my favorite. They're all my favorites. He just has this burden and he carries it differently than you, right? Stop being so angry.
Yeah. Wahoo! We at least took a step.
Like this,
and you're talking about the Mako.
The Mako one, yeah. And I know that's not Mako's fault, right? He's just voice acting. But like, I was thinking about it as I had watched both movies. I was like all this could have been resolved if Splinter had just been more responsible in the way that he's guiding. And although he guides in like a mess of a way, like it's coming from a place of real care and love, but pushed by his own personal fear because of his experience. Yeah. Right. And so for that, I give Mutant Mayhem Splinter the vote.
Okay. Well, you want to go next?
All right. I'll say a few things.
Okay.
I don't think that Splinter has ever been a good depiction of a father in any of the versions of Ninja Turtles that we've seen on screen, at least that I've seen. And there's a couple movies I haven't watched yet, so I take that out of the equation. Like he's a bad dad in all of them. but he is more of a father in Mutant Mayhem. He's more of a master in TMNT. Mm-hmm. The version I prefer to see is the master version. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a cool take to have him be a father, and it went well with the story, especially at the end when he's like, hears pretty much the exact same words from Superfly that he has said, and he realizes what he's been doing wrong. Like, I thought that was a good story and a good arc for him. Mm-hmm. But I like the 1990 version of Splinter where he's the master, and how it's done in the TMNT version better than the father version. So I go with Mako.
All right. My vote goes to Jackie Chan, personally. I mean, same reason. Like, I just like seeing that. I think it's a fun interpretation of him.
Yeah.
Is it the most classic one? No, not necessarily. But as someone who didn't grow up with the classic version,
I thought you were about to say someone who didn't grow up with a father.
He just like look you dead in the eyes at times.
Yeah. That's what you're going with. I was about to strike some fear.
So I was actually going to say, like, I would not be super surprised, especially with the tease of Shredder at the end, if we find out that the Splinter in Mutant Mayhem has not given us the whole story, right? Like, because
there's some other reasons.
If Shredder shows up, he's got no skin in the game, no reason to interact with the turtles whatsoever. Like, unless they're just crime fighting, they can come across him and like a natural thing builds up. Yeah. But I would not be surprised if he shows up and we get some like, okay, so I've not told you the whole truth. Here's some backstory to my life that you guys aren't aware of.
I can already hear it in the trailers with the dramatic music.
Yeah, and just because like what he's like, what the Splinter that I grew up with has a deep connection to Shredder, and that's what makes Shredder such a compelling enemy.
Yeah,
is that connection? Yeah. And if they bring him in for the sequel, like, you got to establish, like, that's why I thought Superfly works so well as a villain, and I'm sure we'll get to that, but connection.
So that's Splinter. Next one, April O'Neil. Which one did her better?
Okay. Again, two very different Aprils.
Yeah.
So we've got
I have my vote already.
Young kid, teenager April. That's
Puke girl.
Puke girl. Please, we're not.
That scene was so funny.
You're puke girl? Yeah, she's just going all over the place. That's how we should have started this podcast. Yeah, so we've got that April, and then we've got Ninja April.
Yes.
In TMNT, which we hadn't seen Ninja April before.
And she's not a reporter.
She's not a reporter. And she's got her relationship with Casey sealed. I am going to go again with TMNT.
Okay.
With Ninja April. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wasn't a big fan of Teenage April. She was fun, but overall, I wasn't a big fan of her.
So I am going to go with TMNT also.
Oh.
I enjoyed both interpretations a lot. Mm-hmm. I think both of them were really fun. I think if you take the name April O'Neil out of both of them, one of them is very obviously still April O'Neil, and another one could be named anything. Mm-hmm. And it's like, like, she works as an interpretation of April, but not necessarily as a... She works as a version of April, not as the definitive April.
But you're saying...
the TMNT, I think, could be seen as a definitive version.
I agree, and my vote's also going to go to TMNT because it didn't have to be April O'Neil. Right? Like, I know that we expect it, like, but like, she could have come in years later. Like, if we get sequels, they could have introduced April O'Neil later.
Like, I'm sure we're going to do with Casey.
Yeah, this just could have been some random teenage kid who has an interest in, whatever the interest is.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a character they could have
but like, like April, like, she does have a relationship with Casey Jones, and I feel like they were kind of setting her up. Like, what better way to introduce like enemies and potential problems for the Ninja Turtles than ancient antiquities and a person who acquires those ancient antiquities. You know what I'm saying? She was like, you know, like when she had her suit on at the end, and Casey Jones like, whoa, you know, she's like, oh yeah, I picked this up last time I was in Japan, right? Part 3, she was like, oh, I got some issues in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But you're saying that the TMNT version is the definitive one, and
Yeah.
the teenage one could have been anybody?
I think for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. If you change her name and just gave her some random name, it still would have worked just fine.
Yeah.
She didn't even have to be April.
The Mutant Mayhem one.
Mm-hmm.
But she was more of the classic reporter that we know.
That's true.
But it's also like reporter for a school, reporter for a web reporting.
Uh-huh.
It's different enough that legitimately could have been anybody.
But then can't you just say that for TMNT also? Other than like...
I think it's
nothing really that she knows the Turtles is the only thing
more,
that's really...
I think it's more how... Because again, this could change with sequels. But it's because like it's an origin story, so no one's met each other yet.
Yeah.
But having her locked in with...
she has history with them.
History with everyone else already.
She tracks down Leonardo.
With TMNT.
TMNT. Like you can like when she tracks down Leonardo, like you can see that she had been a reporter. Like she knows how to look for details and track them down.
Yeah, I do see that because this is a continuation from whatever story was happening before.
Yeah.
Because obviously she learned her ninja skills.
She's trained with them specifically.
Right.
To pick up these skills because she's putting herself in danger all the time, right?
Yeah.
And taking it that way, like she still works as April O'Neil.
Yeah. Okay.
I think changing her name, like it doesn't fit, like it doesn't explain her relationships with them, and
Well, I picked her anyway, so I don't know why I'm arguing that.
Just making points either way.
Devil's advocate sometimes.
Yeah.
He just wants to make sure that we aren't using like straw man arguments.
That's right. Yeah. It's just got to be airtight.
He doesn't want us to just go TMNT just because.
Yeah.
That's not what we're about over here.
Just for tension. So, the main villain.
Okay.
We've got Max Winters versus Superfly.
Yeah. Interesting because neither of them use Shredder.
They do not. One of them is post-Shredder, and one of them is pre-Shredder.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. And quite honestly, both of them have motives that aren't purely evil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like one is like his humans are dangerous and he thinks it's time for the rise of mutants, right? And so he's trying to like create this thing that's gonna turn all the animals into mutants.
He is Splinter.
The other one was
every interaction he's had with humans is a negative one.
Yeah, and
that's why he tries to reason with him too.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the deal. Both of them are like, I thought they did a really good job in both movies to make the villains mirrors of what's happening in the main story, right?
Yeah.
Because Max Winter is a mirror of Leonardo or maybe Michelangelo, but like, or not Michelangelo, but a Raphael. Like he did this thing and like it caused a curse, and now he's essentially lost his family, right? Leonardo has gone on this mission or gone to go do this training, and
that causes a rift.
And it causes a rift in his family. And so like both of them are just trying to reclaim their family. And, you know, in either case, either movie, like they're not, I mean, like their motives, especially like, I'm going to say Superfly is like, he just really dislikes humans enough that it's clear like there's no redeeming, there's no redemption here for him. But Max Winter, like there's never a moment where he's so heinous or so insidious that like he it's clear that he's trying to
do
some rights.
Yeah, he wants to redeem his family, right? Yeah. And so this was the tough part for me because I was like, man, I really love Ice Cube, and he's so funny as Superfly. And just on his charisma alone, I want to give it to him. But like
as an antagonist.
But yeah, but if I'm like as an antagonist though, like because I feel like Max Winter wasn't really the real antagonist. Like the real antagonists eventually were his actual family, or even worse, the curse, which we never get a full explanation on,
No.
is because story, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But at least
You gotta put that on a shirt.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, and that could be like our thing, right?
Yeah.
Because story.
I like it. I like it.
And so it's because of that, because of I feel like there's a tighter story, a tighter arc, and more actual villainy in Superfly. Plus that just super charismatic Ice Cube performance. I'm gonna give it to Mutant Mayhem.
Mutant Mayhem. Yeah, I also give it to Mutant Mayhem.
All right.
And what you said about like because story, there's explanations that need to be had.
Yeah.
One of the things I liked about TMNT is that it didn't really care.
Yeah.
Like they did.
Yeah.
They did
You don't
a good
need it.
enough
You
job.
don't always need it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And it
I
works
mean,
fine.
yeah. There's so many movies, especially from 70s, 80s, that it really doesn't make sense
We
when you
just
start.
watched that Sandra Bullock movie. Like, there's
Right.
so many things in that. Like they're not explained.
And sometimes it just doesn't matter. The rest, the main story is good enough where it's like, that was fun. That was cool. I liked it, and that's what TMNT did. Because there's holes in it.
Yeah.
You can poke holes in it.
You put holes in anyone.
One of my favorite
Yeah.
scenes is like, like they're getting ready to do the big ritual thing, right? And Cry goes out, and she's like, nobody passes, and she like points, and a bunch of Foot Clan run that way, and she points, a bunch of Foot Clan run that way, and immediately there's a knock at the gate, and she opens it, and it's Casey Jones wearing that dumb turtle hat, right? And the rest of the turtles are on the wall, and I'm like, immediately you're letting people in the gate, like this is crazy. And like, so they're fighting their way through, and I'm sure it's because CGI, but like they're like fighting a couple, and you see like just a whole bunch of Foot Clan just standing in the back, just waiting for them to like come to them, and so like, and a lot of the shots like in New York, and like I know a lot of them happen at night, but like there's just not a whole lot of activity or life, and it's New York, man. I'm sorry, but that's it's called the city that never sleeps.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, it still worked. It
still
still
worked.
worked.
Because that was all background stuff.
The
You didn't
bad
need
guy
that.
stuff mirroring the good guy stuff.
Yeah, it's
like
still
I feel like it
story.
works in both of them. Yeah, that's a solid storytelling strategy.
Yeah. So who do you pick?
I really am not sure. Like, Superfly is a great villain.
Yeah.
Just great villain. I love him as a reflection of Splinter.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, Max Winters works really well as a Leonardo. Oh, they're both really good. I'm gonna, like, they both work, but I'm gonna have to go with Superfly too, just because like I would watch more Superfly. When Max Winters disintegrated, I was like, okay,
Yeah, I think
he's gone. He served his purpose, and I'm not sad to see him.
I thought it would have been a lot more interesting if instead of like his people getting sucked up, if they just got their mortality back along with him.
Yeah.
Because now, like, do they keep doing the thing they're doing? Because like they were clearly very evil.
Yeah.
In a way that he had been separated from because of his 3,000 years or whatever. Yeah. And do they come with him and he helps them move past that, or like do they immediately start fighting the turtles? Like, I think that could have been interesting, but instead they're like, we all disappear.
Yeah, oh no, we got Skybeam.
They had to wrap up the story.
Yeah, the Skybeam from
superhero movies. All right, so now we got secondary villains. Both movies had some pretty cool secondary villains. We've got the Foot, and what's her name? I cannot remember.
Karai.
Oh, the one
Karai, yeah.
And then the other one, or the
in Mutant Mayhem, it's Cynthia Utrom.
the lady that tried to milk them.
Yeah. Does that say milking machine?
It was little details like that made it so good because they're like, that's stupid. You don't even have nipples, right? Like, they kept making that joke and then legitimately got to a milking machine.
Yeah. That I feel like that was.
I told you, they
Seth
milk
Rogen's
you.
Comedy.
Oh,
Right there.
Yeah, he was like pulling stuff from his Judd Apatow days.
Okay, so it's Cynthia Ultram and the rest of the mutants, or
Not just her.
Just her?
Yeah, versus Karai and the Foot.
Not the 4 family members.
No.
Okay.
Why not the 4 family members?
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, 4 family members.
Because if we're going,
and why not the rest of the mutants?
Because we'll get there.
Okay.
I say if you're going just Karai and the Foot, they get demolished by a mutant.
Yeah.
If you throw in the other
by
4,
Cynthia Ultron.
yeah, because she legit is just evil from the beginning, right? Like she is the real menace, right? Like
She's orchestrating.
And there's never any
She's
reason
orchestrating
for
all-
it.
yeah.
It's just, she's evil.
she's like purely driven by science, like and she's got shock troopers that are legit dangerous, like they have done damage, like real damage, and kind of created the situation that they're in. Like Karai and them, they're like, oh, we believe in honor, like whatever.
Okay. Then.
And they were kind of side characters.
Yeah, and they're like they don't even stay consistent in their characterization throughout the movie. You know, like because like later on, and this was wild to me. Like we saw the 13th monster when it was in the kitchen and Raphael's fighting it, right? And then they take Leonardo instead. But then later on, when they're like trying to get the 13th monster to the building, it's like a dinosaur-looking thing that's chasing them through the city.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, what?
Where did that come from?
Did it grow? Is this a different? Like, did they catch that one that was number 12 and we just didn't see or know?
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I assumed, that it wasn't in actual chronological order. But I don't know. But
Yeah, 'cause they
again, that's
never
one of
address
those
it.
things again that's like, I
Yeah.
don't care.
But-
The point is not that they're getting the 13 monsters.
Yeah.
right, but
The
not
point
only
is-
does it come out of nowhere, but then Karai and like that one random Foot Clan member are in the back seat and they're like they're not even like they're like making jokes about how instead of arguing they should be concerned with the thing that's chasing them.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, that feels like a weird characterization. Right? Like they're like super serious all the time.
Uh-huh.
Right?
And then to be making jokes just was that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because like when every time they saw them earlier, it didn't matter what they were doing. They tried to kill them.
But Cynthia Ultron, we don't really see her very much. Like she has nothing to do with Superfly.
She created Superfly.
I mean, kind of, but on accident.
Yeah,
Right,
but I think that's still she created all of them.
Well, even beyond that, like, so she was responsible for Stockman creating them. Like he says, like, you know, the people that I work for, like he's talking about her, like they want this to do something else, right?
Right.
I'm just trying to make a family.
Yeah. Then they attack the place. It destroys all the bottles, and that creates all the mutants.
Right, but I'm saying that the motives for Superfly had nothing to do with Cynthia Ultron.
Correct. That's why I think characterizing them as secondary villains, right? Because like Karai and the Foot Clan, their motives have they got hired. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they don't have their leader
that's
anymore.
that's another situation where because story, right?
Yeah.
Like they could literally be doing anything else. Like their leader is gone. I feel like it's far more likely they'd be like, let's find and eradicate these turtles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Grow our numbers, like overwhelm them. Now let's go work for this rich dude who I don't know.
Is he even paying them? Did he
Yeah,
say?
he was paying him. He was like, money's no object.
Well, and he talked about like what would come, like they could be a part of what would come, like so there were promises as well, but like
Nothing.
but like I mean that's what makes it hard for him as a villain. Like why like it was hard for me to back him as the best because like he's clearly different than he was 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like he just wants to bring them, like give them. He wants to undo the curse, like.
But for whatever reason, he's like evil laughing at the start of the
Well,
movie.
yeah. But like, it doesn't seem, especially at the end, it doesn't seem like there was ever an intention for him to like gain more power and establish some sort of empire or something. Like that's why his family turns on him. They're like,
What are you doing, man?
he's going to betray us, right? Yeah, like we don't want to be fixed. Like we're immortal rock creatures. Like,
Yeah, they wanted a chance at the power that he's had for
3,000 years. Yeah,
he got tired of it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you?
there's only one way to find out.
Go get cursed.
Someone give me some powers.
Go chop off the head of a Highlander, then, man.
Yeah.
So no one gave any points. We just
Oh, we
talked
did.
about that.
Okay. Okay. So we were figuring out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess Cynthia.
Yeah, I vote Cynthia too.
Yeah.
Mutant Mayhem.
Sweep.
Sweep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get through these.
Where's the broom?
We got this.
Sweet.
All right, best additional monsters. So this will be the mutants versus the 13. This will be combining design and how they're used in the story.
Okay.
We're going to neglect...
The 13 monsters, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to neglect characterization because the 13 monsters aren't characters.
Mm-hmm.
We're going purely design and how they're used in the story.
Easily, I'm going to give it to Mutant Mayhem.
Me too.
Because not only did they all at least get some characterization, like even like the 4 other bad guys, like
they're just the same.
They're just there, yeah. Like they all do kind of different things, right? And then even the 13 monsters, like we got to see like 6 of them maybe, and like a bunch of them we only saw getting caught. Like really, we got to see that one quite a bit. Mm-hmm. The one that was like an ape kind of, and like that one dinosaur one at the end, and the little one in the kitchen. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I did like the designs of some of those monsters. I thought they were pretty cool. Yeah. And we're not counting the 4 stone guys, right?
One of them, I swear, is in Star Wars.
Which one? The one with the eye?
No, the like big spidery one.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did look like a Star Warsy thing.
Yeah. Like watch was it the second prequel movie?
Uh-huh.
Yes! In the arena?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We'll have to take pictures of that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so I go for Mutant Mayhem also. I mean, those dudes.
There's
Mondo Gecko alone has...
Genghis Frog.
Genghis Frog was funny too.
Yeah. The name is Whack! Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Genghis Frog.
What's next?
Oh yeah.
I loved the one that Splinter ends up with.
Oh, the fly
vermin.
What was it?
I don't remember what it's called. He only speaks vermin.
Was it? That one was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny, and I don't know if it was intentional, but I liken it to like what kids actually feel when they see their parents kissing, and that's why I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, right? Like parents kiss and kids are like, "Ew, that's gross." Yeah. So I thought that was like an exaggerated form of showing that. I don't know if it was done on purpose.
It was really funny, though.
But that's how I see it. It's really funny.
All right, get into a final 3.
Okay.
Music, score. Which one did the better score? Mutant Mayhem.
Ooh, Klaus Medelt versus Trent Reznor.
Yeah, it was Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, Mutant Mayhem used the music in very creative ways.
It was just fun.
It was really fun. Yeah. Just the way they use, like, because they use like, was that feel the breath on your, it sounded like that.
What's going on? Not that one.
If that song is not in the new He-Man movie, I'm going to.
Right. No, yeah, I thought the way that Mutant Mayhem used the music and like integrated it. But because they're young, they're like music is important, and like they integrated it so well, and it like helped characterize the scenes and stuff. Mm-hmm. Not to take away from TMNT, it's like very classically like background music, and it works for it. But Mutant Mayhem
it's got a style to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
right. It's following in the steps of Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So Trent Reznor, his edginess, I mean it shows.
Works great.
So I go Mutant Mayhem also.
This is the thing coming away from both movies.
You just said zzz a whole lot.
Yeah. The Superfly wore off on me. Like coming away from both of them, the TMNT was great in a lot of ways. Mutant Mayhem was great in a lot of ways. They both had their flaws, but maybe it was just the animation style. Maybe it was the improv like feel of everything together. It could have been the music, probably all of it together. Mm-hmm. It just had like a soul to it. That
Mutant Mayhem,
that I didn't quite get from TMNT. Mm-hmm. Like TMNT had an emotional core, and it definitely had passion behind it. But there was like that Spider-Verse kind of soul to Mutant Mayhem. Like everyone was passionate about this.
And I think it's the details that he was talking about earlier. Combined with the music, like everything just fits together. Yeah. There's more like the background, the city, the colors of
it's
it.
Alive.
Yeah.
So I think all of that is why.
Because that's the real deal. Is like there's like they give New York City a character.
Yeah,
right?
It's very grimy.
Yeah,
like
it's
everything's
very
asymmetrical.
Yeah, and
like even the humans in there.
Even when they're above ground, like on rooftop stuff, it still feels very sewery.
Yeah,
right? And TMNT was just like real generic and like I don't know, sterile kind of like you know. And I'm sure
2007
it was pretty early. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty early CG, and so you know I'm sure that had something to do with it as well. But
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the whole tone in general too, because it was going for a darker tone, and everything was darker. Where Mutant Mayhem is much more colorful.
Yeah, and let's be real, like going darker, especially when you're trying to like keep a PG rating, is because they still had like moments where like like they're still the Ninja Turtles, like the goofy Ninja Turtles, and they make the dumb jokes. Yeah. But we're brooding.
Yeah, and that was one of the funny things in Mutant Mayhem, because they made fun of that brooding stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it went into the actual no, this is what we're doing. So it was a good little introduction to what this new Turtles that we're seeing.
It's like a wink in it, you know, like take a wink, like hey, we understand.
Yeah.
We know what it used to
don't expect what was before. Like we're trying something different.
Right. Yeah, it was a good introduction.
Yeah. Well, we got the final two, and these are connected.
Okay.
So we're doing fight scenes.
Okay.
Visually versus emotionally.
Okay.
So we'll start with visual only. Which one had the better fights? And I have my pick.
What's your pick?
TMNT.
Okay. Why?
Leonardo versus Raphael. That fight alone.
Oh, that was a good fight.
I was so zoned in on that fight. I was like, it goes on longer than you think it's going to. There's like multiple phases to it.
Yeah.
That fight is really good and does really define the movie. It's really hard for me though, because aside from that fight, you know, I mentioned like when they're in the area with the foot, like outside the building.
That fight's not as great.
Well, that's not the only time though. Like when they roll up on the monster, like they're just like sitting there chit-chatting while the foot are like one at a time taking it on. Like there's not a whole lot of like they still just have asides during the fights or during these intense scenes where there should be fights.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's because of like the CG and stuff like that, but like at least with the Mutant Mayhem, even though they would get silly with it or like, you know, like they'd be busting jokes or whatever, like it's still progressing the story. The action is progressing what, you know, the story in a way that actually supports the storytelling in the movie. And aside from the real intense fight between Raphael and Leonardo, like even the last fight, I was like, because Splinter's like, nah, my sons can take this, and like they have no problem fighting off like statue monsters who should be like destroying them or way stronger than them. Like I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me. Like at the same time, like I'm sorry, but if you got like 100 Foot Clan, even if they just got beat up, they just get back up and go join in. Like,
well, I feel like Leonardo definitely killed some Foot in TMNT.
Yeah. We know Splinter killed some people
in Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, that guy. I'm pretty sure Leonardo killed that dude at the beginning too.
With the sword.
Yeah. You know, the guy on the Jeep, like before he gives the village back all their stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That dude dead.
Yeah, there was a good handful of body counts in TMNT for sure. I'm
just saying, Mutant Mayhem, we see the corpse. That guy has a stick through his face.
Yeah, that was a pretty rated R scene. They got away with that one. But yeah, that Raphael Leonardo scene was really good. I actually like that scene at the end where they're all raiding the main tower. I thought that was pretty cool. You see April doing her thing, Casey coming along with her, and all the turtles and everything. I liked it. I'm gonna go with TMNT. Yeah, mainly because of the death count. and because it's new turtle fights, so really the only what was the main fight is the first fight. After that, it was kind of just jumping around, throwing stuff, and trying to get
Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, Mutant
There's
Mayhem.
a fight when they're trying to go back and forth with the thing that they need to finish like when they're in the van, right?
Yeah.
When he goes, we need something long and
Yeah.
what did he say?
Long and sturdy.
Yeah.
You mean a stick?
Which is
That resonated
Which is
with
a
me,
great
you know?
callback because when they're in the shop in the first fight,
Yeah,
he's like,
I got a stick.
why do I got a stick? Yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't really a fight. It was an action sequence, but they weren't really fighting.
Yeah, but
And
think
even
about, think about TMNT, like some of those, like, so they show up when that monster's there, and it's an action sequence, but there's not really. They have a small interaction with the foot who take off immediately, and then the creature kind of knocks them down a bit, and then gets caught by the other guys. Like they have some interactions, and like even like let's see that courtyard scene where like they show up. Like at first you see like a big overall fight, then you get to see them like knock people out as they get to the thing. And yeah, I guess they fight like the 4 at the end, but like that fight is so non-important.
Yeah.
Like, and it feels like it should have been something bigger. Like these are the bad guys, like the big baddies.
Yeah.
And it was like
doesn't
nothing for
feel
them. Yeah,
climactic.
Splinter's like just not just hang back, Winters. Like my boy's got this, right?
Well, I'll be honest with that part. I fell asleep. So
Obviously, it was an incredible fight scene.
it was awesome.
Fully holds
from
your
what
attention.
I remember.
That's funny.
Well, yeah, because and I intended to go back and watch, and that way I can really say
Way in for
what I thought of the whole movie in the end, because I kind of didn't remember the whole thing. I had seen it before this last time,
Right.
but you know, fresh in my head.
yeah, it's 2007, man.
I didn't watch it in 2007. It wasn't till I don't know when, but it wasn't when it released.
I didn't watch it.
So yeah. Anyway, after they got into the building, that point is when I fell asleep, and then I didn't get a chance to rewatch the
I
end.
feel like that speaks volumes, man.
I don't think so, because
I was working a lot, man. Don't blame it on the movie, okay? Don't blame the movie.
I mean, that's just what it is now. Like it's
It's all on me.
a certain time comes around, and it's like
Oh yeah, I get it.
we're done here.
You're like,
Yeah.
it's 8:30.
Look,
You're like,
this guy's falling asleep
my
right now.
eyeball- yeah. No, he's thinking about that food over there. That cold food.
Yeah. Yeah. So I still liked what I saw while I was awake. I still liked it. And I don't think that
I'm
there
not
was
taking away from. For me personally, I felt like the fighting, like the fight scene should drive the story, right? And I think that's where like Marvel runs into some issues a lot of times. Is like, oh, here's the obligatory fight scene, like,
Yeah.
right.
like
Here's our sky beam.
yeah, and like it's really obvious when I'm watching it with my wife. She's like, because then she checks out.
Yeah.
But like if it's interesting and it's happening in an interesting way and it's pushing the story forward.
How many
that's-
Spider-Verse fight scenes did you watch?
Well, and I was just gonna say that's why like Winter Soldier. We talk about how great Winter Soldier is. Like Winter Soldier has plenty of fight scenes.
Yeah.
But they all push something.
Yeah.
Something's happening. You get like, oh, this is Bucky Barnes. Like this is not just Winter Soldier. Like Nick Fury's been shot. Like who is this mysterious? Like, and it all pushes you towards the end goal. And I felt like in Mutant Mayhem it did that a lot better than the other one. Like TMNT, like some of the things we mentioned, I feel like were just happening because story.
So I just remembered or realized that we're doing this in 2 different sections.
Yeah, I want
So-
I want to know what the other section is.
Visually is what I'm saying. I liked it better in TMNT.
Yes.
And then so
The second half is emotionally like
emotionally,
what's carrying.
right?
Oh, so if we're going emotionally, I'm giving it to TMNT because that Raphael Leonardo fight is like the heart and the core of that movie.
Yeah.
Like just when Raphael realizes how far he's gone in the fight, and you can see it on his face.
Yeah.
And he just runs.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
Dang.
that really, that is the defining moment of the movie. Like, and that's why for me the fights in the other one are so much more interesting because like outside of that one fight, the other fights they don't matter.
Yeah.
Right. Those two and their interaction, like that showed how broken Raphael was, right? And showed Leonardo like how him leaving impacted. Yeah, not it wasn't just himself, right? He needed to get his eyes off himself and focus on his brothers. And the other one is silly, and so you don't really get those emotional beats, right? Even like when what's his face is, Superfly's all big and like they're blasted, like it's silly, it's funny, like there's horses running off and stuff. Like, but if we're going like the emotional impact, I think for me, TMNT gets the win.
Yeah, I think so too. And again, to like go off of what you're saying as far as the jokes, the Mutant Mayhem stuff was way more entertaining in a lot of ways because of all the jokes and all the funny that happens during all the action sequences. But yeah, saying
they made a funny?
They made
another funny.
Yeah. Which do we have the Cowabunga in either of these movies?
We do in Mutant Mayhem. I don't remember one.
I don't think you have it in TMNT.
I would have to, because I think when Michelangelo is skating in the sewer.
Oh, he might have said it.
He might drop one. I can't remember. I just remember him saying a lot of the Michelangelo things, and Cowabunga feels like it'd be on that list.
If it was, that might be the place, but I don't remember if he did.
Yeah,
if he did say it was
the
like
only appropriate place for it to be.
Right, right. Yeah, it takes a dark turn after that. Yeah, but even the final battle with Superfly, I thought that it was a little short. Okay, so you have the humans element that you put into Mutant Mayhem when they become friendly, which was.
That's the Spider-Man moment, right?
Right.
Yeah. When Goblin is got the people and
you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
And this is why it gets it characterizes the city. Like you can see the impact that the story is having. Yeah. You don't get a lot of that in TMNT.
It feels very contained.
Like, where is this building? That's got a sky laser shooting down it.
No one is
this
concerned
old
about this
American, it's like Aztec style architecture that nobody noticed suddenly, right? Like, and there's just nobody there. Like, there's not even a security guard being like, well, there's a lot of ninjas around here today.
This is not in my job description. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Because you could have used that as Mutant Mayhem would have done that probably. Like, just him there eating a donut, like, these ninjas are getting out of hand.
Right. Yeah. But even so, like, that whole final battle, I think partly because I've seen that before, where the humans help become the allies in Spider-Man, and not even. They did it in the Andrew Garfield one also. Yeah. With the with the cranes.
There's that scene in Conan, the Destroyer.
It all connects.
As Mako maybe comes and helps. So I think that might have been part of it where I was like, whatever. And then the actual when they finish off Superfly, I thought was underwhelming.
Yeah.
So
it was.
For sure. That's why I go with TMNT. So
I'm going Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, I think that at least for me, I agree with you. Like, I like the kaiju moment. That was a lot of fun. But I feel like at least 90%, and I want to even be like 99% of the time. The more intimate you can make it, the better. Yeah. Like, I'm going to reference once again, because we've already brought it up several times, like Winter Soldier, man. Like,
final battle there. What made Captain America?
Yeah, what made that so compelling? Like, man, when he knocked the mask off and he realized it's his friend, right? And so now he's like trying not to get killed, but he doesn't want to hurt, right? And so it just changes. It changes the way he's approaching the whole fight and the whole situation.
Yeah,
that's why Star Wars movies end with duels. It's everything coming to a head. With
that's why I mentioned the Raphael's face, because like he was coming at it like he'd been coming at everything for the past year. Like he's fighting to win, and then he sees that it's his brother, that he's not only like positioning himself to like kill, like, and it just you could see it across his face, like, man, like I've crossed a line.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think in that moment he's like unrecognizable to himself. And that's just
and then he couldn't handle it and he leaves.
Yeah, and that's so much more compelling than there's a kaiju here who's
right.
Every time we blast him with this thing, like horses run off, and there's a whale up in the mix.
Right, but the fun factor is
it was fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
I think it was fun, but I also just like I think there was an emotion to it of it took every single piece that was at play against Superfly.
Yeah, even his friends.
Yeah.
They all helped out. The humans coming together.
Yeah.
The mutants are helping the humans, and then the humans come in, and then the mutant gets the thing.
In no way want to take it. Like, it was great. I love the movie. I bought it because I liked it so much. I keep trying to get my daughter to watch it.
She doesn't watch it?
She will not watch it, man.
Weird.
I try to get her to watch Chicken Run too, and she's like, no, their eyes are weird to me.
I can agree with that.
That's fair.
I was just like trying to I was trying to show her a Where's Waldo book. I was like, I really think you'll like this. You're gonna find him. She's like, nah, his eyes are weird. And I don't know if it's just because like it was the chicken with the glasses. I don't know if it's just people with glasses, right?
With the eyes.
Oh, because it's big, but then little pupils.
Yeah. I don't know if that's what it is, but like, when I sat down to watch Mutant Mayhem, like my wife
She's
was
like, Donatello,
my wife was
that
just
glasses.
there, and she was like, after Superfly showed up, she was in, man. Like the fact that they called him Little Shreks. She thought it was hilarious. She watched the whole movie. She was like, okay, that was actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
And she does not watch movies. Right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of a big deal. And so not trying to take anything away from it. I just feel like the emotional beats in TMNT for me are make it a more compelling fight.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's 2-1.
It's 2-1.
How many have we had where... Because I feel like most of them have been sweeps.
We've had, I think, only sweeps, and then, well, I guess we have to have only sweeps and then 2-1. That's just how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
But most of them were sweeps.
Except those 3-1s.
The three, yeah.
Kevin.
Who's Kevin?
That's the joke.
Yeah. He's the third person. Anyway.
It's the unknown.
Yeah.
Why Kevin, though?
It's the first name I thought.
We're all Hispanic here, man.
Hey, half.
Kevino.
Yeah, half.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Still
That's
Hispanic,
true.
bro.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Still Hispanic. Hombre. Essay. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, was that the last
That's
one?
it. We're done here.
Okay.
All right, so tallied up.
Tallied up.
Hold on. Let's do this one last one.
Okay.
Because we didn't do an overall story. What was the better overall story?
Mutant Mayhem.
Mutant Mayhem.
Okay. Well,
I just feel
that
like
was easy.
I just feel like it was a lot tighter.
Yeah.
Because again, and I'm only gonna just because
I
I did
TMNT.
I really did the work this time. Like I prepped myself. There's too many things in TMNT because story.
Yeah.
Right.
For me, at least.
Mutant Mayhem, it feels like everything is cohesive. It's working together for the most part.
Yeah, I just liked the story better of TMNT.
Yeah.
I liked the tone better.
We know Conan.
Yeah, I like the turtles look better.
See, that's the part that's kind of wild to me. Because like in TMNT, we get the more stylized. Like Donatello's a lot slimmer and kind of nerdy, and Raphael's bigger and bulkier. Like
You mean Mutant Mayhem?
in TMNT, like Raphael's bigger.
It is, yeah.
And that I remember that being the first time, at least for me, where I was like, what are they doing right now? Like,
Why are they different?
why are they all different? Yeah. You can't just sell one action figure with different colors now.
I can't make them all myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't 3D print those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even with like all the holes.
But now when
that
you
are
watch
so-
like the shows, like that's how they look.
it's just
now.
regular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they look like. now.
Yeah, but I like the subtle differences
Yeah,
instead
like
of the.
like the blue. And there's like one that's red.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite style. But if you're gonna make them look actually different, I like the
No,
subtle
I like it when it's
differences.
really subtle, all red. The only difference is the weapons, the way they
Oh,
talk.
that's-
And
Super
they
subtle.
still have tails.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's weird. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
they're huge.
the movie I was talking about, it's the one that Alan Richardson's in.
What are you talking about?
The Ungentlemanly something something.
When were you?
Anyways, hey, listen. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, hey, add it up. Who
We're
won?
tired. Oh, Mutant Mayhem.
Mutant Mayhem won?
It won.
What's the score?
It is 11 for TMNT to 19.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty handily.
Yeah.
Okay, let me make up some other categories for TMNT.
This is how I personally.
Which one came out first?
Right, yeah.
I vote TMNT.
Yeah, who had the older turtles
Yeah.
that played them?
Who had more voice actors?
Yeah. No, I mean, I did prefer TMNT over Mutant Mayhem, just barely.
Well, the points tell you that you're wrong.
I know.
Scientifically speaking,
I can't
that
wait.
is impossible.
I can't argue it. We said it at the beginning, so.
You know, it's crazy, and I told you this. I had such low. I mean, like I wasn't even gonna watch the movie. You guys just were like, "Man, it's pretty good. You should watch it," and that's why I watched it, and I'm glad that I ended up.
Power of influence.
Yeah. Peer pressure. Give into it.
Yeah, peer pressure. You were born in 2007. Man.
All right. Well, you guys let us know who should have won this battle, because it obviously should have been TMNT, but it did not win.
We're like, there's a write-in vote. It's the Bay Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Oh no. We already did that battle, and it lost. So let us know. What are we doing next? Do you know?
I don't know.
We don't have anything planned right now. Oh yeah, we got our special episode.
We'll have to really find the time, because we got the movies stacking up. Yeah. That I want you guys to see.
Yeah, movies that Mephisjoe's making us watch.
Maybe that'll just be the next episode. We just marathon a bunch of movies that he wants to watch.
Could be. Yeah. Could be. So, all right. Well, stay tuned. Follow us on our socials. The Room Upstairs podcast. You can find us on any of the socials that we're on. YouTube. Comment and like and subscribe. And that's
all that
it.
Fun stuff.
You gonna say that dumb thing?
What dumb thing?
See you guys next
I
time.
don't say dumb things.
The thing you always say.
I don't say things.
Okay.
That's fandom for you.
Can I guess? We're talking about Dune.
Yeah, let's do it.
I had vaguely remembered that you guys wanted to watch it. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm surprised they haven't mentioned Dune. I'm surprised he hasn't mentioned Dune in a while.
Yeah.
Because he's a Dune head.
That was next.
He's got Dune syndrome.
Yeah.
Since you want to talk about it so much.
He's mentioned it more than I have. That's all I could talk about the past 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, you rubbed off on him.
Yeah.
He can't wait to get in on the action. So, what'd you think of Dune?
I didn't see it. Still ain't seen the first one.
You haven't seen the first one yet?
Nope.
Oh man, I thought
I
you had
am.
at least seen
I
that
am.
one.
So listen, I got 6 books left in Wheel of Time because I really want to finish that.
Powering through those.
I got to power through them. I'm right in the middle
And then go
of She
through
Who
the
Rides
show.
the Storm. I just haven't had a lot of time to read recently. There are 2 seasons, so I'm not sure. But I really am interested in reading at least the first 2 because he says that they're really great, and I love me some sci-fi, and it's like, I mean, lauded as like one of the best science fiction around, and so I would really like to read it before I watch.
Yeah.
And quite
Highly
honestly,
recommend that.
I mean,
Specifically,
I
the
remember
second-
watching the old ones, right?
Yeah.
But I was young enough that I was like, this is weird.
So I didn't
It's
read
weird.
the books, obviously.
Right.
Do you have something in specific about Dune 2? Or do you want to talk about it, or just
Listen, I don't, because I could talk about this for so long.
this could be our actual?
This could be a full
topic.
episode. Just me ranting about.
He's gonna
every
start
last
a
thing.
separate podcast.
All right,
that's
I don't-
just
Dune.
dedicated. He's gonna call it Dune
the
Syndrome.
Dune cast. Dune Syndrome. That's not a bad idea. So then let's do a rating on it.
Okay.
Our spice meter.
Yes. The spice must flow. That's a
Oh
book.
my god!
Boom.
I
Boom.
know enough to know that. Oh man.
Okay, so we're bringing our spice meter into this. We start at 50, and then we go up with the flavor, or go down if there's not enough flavor. So, what are you going to give this?
100.
100.
That's a perfect.
So this is a perfect
movie.
movie.
This is a perfect movie, I think.
Okay.
perfect
Dune
movie.
2 in specific?
Listen, okay. It's not perfect, and I can recognize that.
Okay.
But I love it. I love this movie so
Okay.
much.
All right. Well, you can give it 100 because it's
It
your
is
taste.
a very biased 100.
That's your taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say overall, like for the general, 90.
Okay. So that's what I would say probably is I would say, yeah, 90. I was going to say maybe 80 something, but 80 feels low because it was really good. But there were
the fact that even you were during parts of it were just like, what?
Yeah. There were some twists in there. Yeah, we won't spoil any of that.
No.
But there were some twists that I was like, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would give it a 90 in my spice meter.
The fact that I read the book and was still watching the movie on the edge of my seat, like what is going to happen next, was really nice for me.
Yeah, and this was one of the movies where I was even like, we should watch this in the theater.
Yeah, and you're never.
No, I don't do that often. Godzilla was one of them, and this was another one. Yeah. And both of them were the right choice.
Yes.
So, 90.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You need to get into it.
I will get there.
Eventually.
Yeah. I will get there.
Post Wheel of Time.
It still will be in
It'll probably be between Wheel of Times. Because you got to change it up.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just a thick book over
there.
Yeah,
that's okay. I mean, I'm Wheel of Time in it, so.
Yeah, that's true. Those are big.
So this will still be in the Sony Award for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he hasn't seen it. At least if two of us watch it, I think it'll go into the awards. So Dune 2 will be there. Zorro, if we finish.
Yeah, which we should.
And what was the first one that we talked about?
Wonka.
Yeah. So they'll be in the awards for the end of the year.
Yeah. So Dune 2, very good. This one, the first movie, is essentially a page-for-page adaptation of the first half of the book, which I really was like, okay, cool. Like, there's some stuff they cut out because it's just really hard to do in a visual form when the entire scene is internal monologue. The second half of the book is also very hard to do, and so they just didn't do a lot of it. There's a giant, I want to say, 5-year time skip halfway through. They just didn't do the time skip. They condensed the timeline down, and I have massive respect for them. There's a character, multiple characters, completely missing, technically. Like, there's a bunch of stuff they changed, and I agree with almost every change.
But all in all, it's a good adaptation.
Yes, they changed stuff for the better.
Every adaptation is gonna differ from the original.
Yeah,
in some ways, even if it's small. Like even if it's just, like you said, the first one, like they didn't include certain things.
Yeah,
every adaptation is gonna have some stuff. The real challenge is like, is it good enough to be successful on its own?
Yeah, right? And I think it is.
That's good then.
Yeah. So when was Dune filmed as opposed to Wonka? Do you remember?
That's an interesting question. I don't know.
So,
I want to say Wonka was filmed first.
That's what I think also, but I'm not sure. I don't know that it really matters with what I'm about to say. So with Timothée Chalamet, because you brought him up that you're kind of tired of him. I'm
not even watching his stuff.
He's just showing up everywhere.
Just seeing him all over the place.
He's like all over the news and stuff. I'm just like,
I don't care.
Yeah. Reels. So because he's a big deal, right? But kind of like Michael B. Jordan, I know, kind of hot take. I'm not too impressed with either of them. I hadn't been anyway. But after watching Dune, I was like, okay, Timothée Chalamet might be the truth. Yeah. He was really good. Everybody was really good in that movie. The first one. And then they kept it up for the second one.
I enter rooms just screaming that sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's better. He used to walk in rooms yelling, E-Bombay.
It's a different phase.
Yeah. It happens. You got to progress. So when we were going to watch Wonka, I was like, okay, Wonka's a completely different role. I really liked Chalamet in Dune 2. In Dune 1, I was still like, he's okay.
He's all right in that movie.
But he really shined in Dune 2. So, okay, we're going to watch Wonka. Looking forward to his performance, which he did well.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he was, like, amazing in that movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, which one? That's why I was asking which one came first.
There's really different roles.
They are very different roles, but like you can have different actors that do very different roles, like a Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
But they're going to be amazing in whatever role they do anyway.
Yeah.
Or like how Hugh Grant is killing it right now with whatever role he's in, right? Yeah. Oompa Loompa is very different from the Emperor from Dungeons and Dragons or whatever he was. He was equally great in both. So, like, I don't think that's a reason. I think if you're that good, you should be that good in whatever role you're in. That proves you're that good, I guess.
Yeah.
So, watching Wonka, I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of down on him again.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if Dune is the actual latest that he's done, then he's definitely progressing. Because he wasn't bad in Wonka.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. He was good. But I just wasn't amazed by it.
Yeah.
And maybe it was song choices.
I wonder how much it has to do with direction and
that could have been
the fact that you're getting solid performances from everyone in Dune.
Right.
I feel like is a testament to the directing also. Like he's able to put everyone.
And quite honestly, it just probably forces you to be better too.
Yeah. It very well could be that too.
Yeah. Like, I'm with a bunch of people bringing their A game. I better bring my A game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and they brought their A game for sure.
Yeah.